What is up, you guys? BerryTCG here with another video on the best sim in the entire world. That is DuelVoyager.com, so you should make sure to check that out. I host a tournament every single week and they're completely free to join. So just head on over to DuelVoyager.com to sign up. It is a ton of fun. But you are looking at the first place deck from the most recent tournament, which just happened on Friday night, and that is Red Sabo. And boy, did we get our butts kicked by this guy. It was crazy. This deck can just fill up their life every single turn. They're stacking at least 2 life cards because they're able to play their Gecko Moria or their 8-cost Teach, and then just use their leader's effect to often just toss these 8-cost cards back into their life. So they're able to recycle them and just keep using them to keep stacking 2 life cards per turn. Or if you want, after you put this guy in, you can just use his trigger effect to just get rid of any of your opponent's cards. And then in the meantime, you're just building up your field with your Peronas, your Dr. Hogbacks, your Kikinojos. You just have so many cards that are able to play themselves from your life that this deck feels really unkillable. Like, take a look at this. So on my turn, I attack him a few times. I'm trying to be as aggressive as I possibly can. So I'm happy that I'm able to get some cards out of his hand. And then when I attack him and get over his character, and then I get over his life, I don't see a trigger, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I think, hey, maybe I have a chance. So I'm hoping for the best. And then he attacks my life. And then he plays a 8-cost Gecko Moria, gets a life card, puts the Gecko Moria into his life. And then back on my turn, I don't really have a choice but to attack him. I have to put pressure on him. I can't let him just keep gaining life cards. But then he's able to play a Zoro from his trash, gain another life card. So then I attack again, and then he counters. I was fine with that, but then on the next attack, he gets a Hogback that he actually can't play the same copy of that Hogback, so he plays the Perona instead. But that's still a problem card. So I attack over the Perona, and then I attack his life, and now he just has a field again. So basically, I just 2 turns in a row during my turn as well. And then now he's able to just put a ton of attacks into me, and then he plays down to Borsalino. This is just not fair. Red Sabo just keeps getting stronger with all the new yellow cards that come out. So congrats to Constant for winning first place by noticing how strong it is. And are you guys interested in playing some of these older leaders now that they are so buffed with the new cards? In second place, we had Goldie Roger, piloted by Tinkerer, and I just really love this deck, and many people have taken it to my tournament and really seen success with it, and Tinker is no exception, especially with these fantastic new cards from OP17. Like this 10-cost Kaido is really cool because on play, you're able to negate something and then pop a 6-cost, which is really helpful right now with things like the 6-cost Enel. And this guy even makes all of your bricks in your hand a 1k counter, so it really fixes a problem that Roger used to have where it always had a ton of bricks that it played, and so it didn't have a ton of defenses despite it being a 7,000 power leader and often a 9,000 power leader. And so this card really helps bring some of that back. And also you have the 10-cost Shanks, which lowers all of your opponent's characters by 1,000 power, giving you more defense and really just locking your opponent out of the game once you start stacking multiple of these on the field. And you can see just how fast Roger is able to get to their 10 Dawn turn, throwing down the Mr. 2 and then the Buggy, getting to 8 Dawn right after their 6 Dawn turn. So now they're going to get 10 Dawn on their 4th turn, and they went first, so they were able to attack first. They didn't take damage right away, and so now the opponent attacks. They're just searching. They're not doing a lot because, again, this is just like the early to mid game, and Roger's already at 10 Dawn. They drew the Kaido, but this turn they play down the 8-cost Roger and become a 9,000 power leader. So when they attack, their opponent's going to take, and their opponent can't really do a lot to the Roger now that they're 9,000 power. So they just play down their 6-cost Luffy, attach a few Dawn, attack once, doesn't really do a whole lot. And then the Roger player is able to play down that 10-cost Kaido and remove that 6-cost Luffy, really putting the red-green Luffy player in a tough position. So you can see just how fast and powerful Roger is, able to put out bodies that other decks just aren't able to keep up with, and it feels really unfair because not only are you cheating out bodies because you're purple, look at that beautiful 7,000 power number on that leader. Are you guys fans of Roger? I think this deck is really fantastic. Let me know in the comments if you guys think this deck is as underrated as I do. And in third place, we have the beginning of One Piece combo decks with the new starter deck 21 Luffy, which just got another starter deck. And this deck is just really cool because of the 5-cost Sanji. You're able to play one of your character cards with a cost of 5 or less for free, which is really fantastic because your leader is then able to put 2 Dawn onto the Sanji, giving it rush, so he's basically just an extra attack out of nowhere. What makes this deck extra threatening is it's really easy to get these Straw Hat cards on your field, like the Thousand Sunny, which also attaches Dawn after it searches, and of course Sanji fills up your field, so you're really able to take advantage of the 7-cost Luffy, which gives itself rush and can lower one of your opponent's character's power by 1,000 for every Straw Hat character on your field. It doesn't have to have a different name, it just has to be on your field, and your leader counts and your stage card counts. So once he hits the field, it's really easy to just pick off any of your opponent's characters so you can control the game and keep directing attacks into their life. So Luffy is entering their 6th Dawn turn, and they throw down their 5-cost Sanji, which is able to draw a card and play down the 5-cost Luffy, which attacks and puts a Dawn onto their leader. Now, their leader is able to use their effect to put 2 Dawn onto their Sanji, and they're able to attack over the pudding, and then they attack with their leader into life again. Out of nowhere, he was able to get 2 extra attacks down, which I think is really valuable. And even though it's against Sabo and against Yellow, it still makes a big difference because you need to be aggressive against these kinds of decks or you just won't be able to keep up. Now, the one thing I will say about this turn is that I think the Luffy player should have played the 7-cost Zoro, because you'll see that they searched it off of the Thousand Sunny, and then they played down their 7-cost Luffy instead, which just kind of confused me because you can see that they'll have a bunch of small attacks next turn. You want to throw down your 7-cost Zoro to put yourself to a 7,000 power leader, and then next turn you can use the 7-cost Luffy to get over their 7-cost Zoro, because otherwise it's just going to stay on the field. And in this game you can see that it did end up happening, where this 7-cost Zoro really just kept it being a huge value for the Sabo player, being multiple 9k swings, when I think maybe on this turn, if you went for a defensive play, instead of just getting over the Zoro, you could have had 7,000 power, so then the Sabo player wouldn't have been able to just direct a bunch of attacks into the Luffy player's life on this turn. And then on the following turn, now that the Zoro would be rested, they'd be able to get over the Zoro. Obviously, it's tough to see sometimes in the moment, but I just noticed when I was looking back on the replay, just thinking about how maybe this Luffy player could have had an edge in this game. Obviously, 3rd place is really great, so congrats to Madarame for that. If you do well in my tournament, you get some doubloons on DuelVoyager, which basically unlocks alt arts like this Luffy, or this Sabo, and even this Gecko Moria. We have all the alt arts on DuelVoyager. All you gotta do to unlock them is play games, and DuelVoyager.com requires no download at all, so make sure to check it out, guys. It's a ton of fun, and I'm always there. So like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, but anyways, if you're still here, you're the best, and I'll see you guys next time.